Redbird fans, I'm here with Braedon Blackford. He's a junior infielder, outfielder, kind of utility guy for the Redbird baseball team. Had a great start to his first season as a Redbird, correct?
Yeah, first season.
Yeah. So Peoria, Notre Dame, Carl Sandburg graduate. Braedon, thanks for taking the time to talk with me and all the ISU people who are going to tune into this.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So obviously it's been a little bit now, but looking back, how did the season end for you? Obviously very prematurely, but how did you guys find out? Where were you? Feelings, thoughts as it happened? Just kind of walk through the process of having a season end in a way that it did.
Yeah, so we were down in Florida, had just played a game against Florida State, and we're traveling back to North Florida to play a weekend series against them. And kind of on the way back there is when we saw things start to cancel throughout the country. But had a meeting the night before our game, and Coach Holmes said that, we still plan to play this weekend. And then he actually got a phone call during the meeting, walked out of the meeting, took the phone call, came back in and said that we were canceled for this weekend, and that we were going to get on a bus the next morning and just start heading back home because it didn't make, we weren't going to stay there.
Mm-hmm.
And then later that night, we got a text saying, hey, we found a flight. We're leaving at 8:30. And at I think it was like 9:30 or something, we were on a plane coming back home. So it was just a crazy turn of events.
That's wild. Did you guys have a chance to talk as a team or with your teammates? And obviously when you're on the plane, are you thinking this is nuts. Like, we're not going to play baseball anymore. So I'm sure this is the longest you've gone without playing baseball. So what was your reaction to it personally? Were you obviously disappointed, and you had a great start to the season? So what was your thought process just individually as you found out?
It was disappointing. I still had hope that, we'll, they'll uncancel it, or we'll play, because there was chance of trying to play Missouri Valley games.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of was just holding on to that hope that we're still going to play and this is just going to blow over. And obviously it hasn't. And I was just in shock, I think. I don't think it set in until I was cleaning out my apartment, and
right.
The room was empty, and then that's really when it set in and I was going back home.
So you're back home now.
Yep.
You said you're working out. What are you doing to stay in shape? Obviously with the season over, there's the question of how much eligibility you're going to use and what you're going to do next. So what are you doing from a athlete standpoint to keep yourself ready for whenever you guys get the call that you can start playing games again?
Well, since most of all the gyms back home in Peoria are closed, so I've been fortunate enough. I go to my high school's track, and my little brother and I, we work out there. And then if I can get a couple guys, we just hit the batting cage. They're really not. I mean, there's not much to do, but there's nothing else to do.
Yeah, exactly. So from a work standpoint, we were talking. So the way we've talked to some people who this has impacted, and you have a very unique firsthand perspective as to how this pandemic has impacted you on a day-to-day basis. So tell everyone what it is that you're doing now, and how, I don't want to say an opportunity, but something that you've done in this pandemic. You've pivoted to becoming almost a first line worker.
Yeah. So my dad's company, they're called PAL Health Technologies. They make orthotics insoles. The CEO is a doctor, and that's what they do. And when COVID started, they saw it as an opportunity to help the frontline workers, and they started making the face shields. So it's the plastic sheet over the face that just helps keep doctors and first responders out of the line of spit or cough or and so we make the face shield. So some days I'm cutting the plastic that gets sent off to be shaped, or some days I'm cleaning the plastic, some days I'm gluing the foam that goes on the forehead. I've stapled the elastic, and I've packaged. So I've kind of done it all. And we send out about 100,000 a week to a hospital down in Florida. We were doing that for about 4 weeks, and I think the contract was for 5 weeks, but it might be longer now that
Right.
this is still going on.
So what have you learned, I guess, through this process, going from, 2 months ago, you're a starting Division I baseball player, and now you're a second shift face shield assembler. So what has been the learning process? I'm sure we talk all the time about control what you can control in athletics, and obviously you've stepped up and helped out during this. So what has been the learning process for you? What have you taken from this?
I think it just kind of showed me like how important this whole situation was, because when it happened down in Florida, like I was just kind of upset and like
Yeah,
didn't really understand that, like how big of a deal this was. But now working and having to send 100,000 masks out a week, it just kind of shows how important this is. And like 1 week we didn't get 100,000, and we had to come in on Saturday just because they need these masks. And
yeah,
it has just shown me like how bad the situation actually is.
for sure. Well, I mean it's an outstanding story. It's great to see one of our own step up during this time and put themselves to good use. So we're very proud of you as a Redbird and thankful for that. So do you have anything else that you'd like to share? Any messages you'd like to send on behalf of the baseball program? And if not, we'll wrap it up here.
I think just everyone try and, like you said, control what you can control. Stay safe, and soon we'll be back to normal playing Redbird baseball.
For sure. Well, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.